Public speaking, right, is the number one fear that
Absolutely.
most people have, right?
Absolutely.
So listen to this. From the time I went to kindergarten through sixth grade, I never spoke in school. The only
Really?
people that heard me were my best friends and my family. That was it. So I was in sixth grade at Red House Run Elementary in Rosedale. And my teacher, Mr. Copenhaver, who I still talk to today, said, we're going to make a public speech, 3 minutes. That's your assignment. Well, I went home that night. I said to my mom, I'm dropping out. It's sixth grade. I can't do it.
You're dropping out over the speech
Yeah,
day.
so she said, all right, well, what you have to do is you gotta speak about what you know. What do you love? Well, baseball. She goes, how to make a baseball. So then I went to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Flipping it. We didn't have Google in those days. So I'm flipping through there and I'm reading and I'm swallowing my index cards. And she says, get up in front of a mirror and look to your left, look to your center, look to your right. Look over their heads. Don't look right at them.
Mom had some experience in
She
this.
knew. She knew. So I took it and blah, 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 blah. So here comes Friday, and that's the day we had to give the public speech.
Sure.
And there was nobody with the last name A, nobody with the last name B. I was the first one. So I get up, and literally I am shaking. I got a prop in my hand, and I'm shaking. And I start to my left, and I go to center, right, left, center, right, boom, boom, boom. Now remember, these kids have never heard me speak. I've
That's
never
true.
raised my
Okay,
hand.
yep,
I've been in
yep.
the back, all right? And I'm delivering this speech, 3 minutes gone. And I stop, and they all stood up, gave me a standing ovation. And I haven't shut the hell up since.
Welcome to this episode of The Diligent Leader. I'm Holly Basta here with my co-host,
Alex Fakeri. We're glad to have with us today a great guest, Jamie Costello.
How you doing, everybody? Nice to
Doing
be
well.
here.
Thanks
welcome
for
to the
joining us.
show.
Yeah.
I feel so honored.
Yeah.
Honored. Oh, hey, listen. This is it, boy. Wait a minute. Somebody else is coming, right?
Yeah, no, you're the main act.
Yeah, because today we're going to be talking about how leaders leverage strategic communications for maximum impact. And I couldn't think of anybody better to talk to but Jamie Costello.
That sounds like a thesis.
Yeah. Sounds very scientific, don't you think?
It does. I'm thinking, what?
Yeah. Well, we think you set a high bar, so we're going to come in with a solid topic today.
That's
so
what.
there we go.
Okay, I understand now.
Yeah, there we go. So, well, thank you for joining. And, for those who don't know, or if you're tuning into The Diligent Leader for the first time, the idea here is, there's so many roles and so many responsibilities in an organization they have, no matter the size or the mission. It's important to have people who have the right kind of mindset, and they come from all walks of life with all verticals. But, we're excited to have Jamie here today, and hope you pick up some great inspirational ideas from him and, from the show. So, Jamie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When you were just saying that, public speaking, right, is the number one fear that
Absolutely.
most people have, right?
Absolutely.
So listen to this. From the time I went to kindergarten through sixth grade, I never spoke in school. The only
Really?
people that heard me were my best friends and my family. That was it. So I was in sixth grade at Red House Run Elementary in Rosedale. And my teacher, Mr. Copenhaver, who I still talk to today, said, we're going to make a public speech, 3 minutes. That's your assignment. Well, I went home that night. I said to my mom, I'm dropping out. It's sixth grade. I can't do
You're
it.
dropping out over the speech
Yeah,
day.
so she said, all right, well, what you have to do is you gotta speak about what you know. What do you love? Well, baseball. She goes, how to make a baseball. So then I went to the Encyclopedia Britannica. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Flipping it. We didn't have Google in those days. So I'm flipping through there and I'm reading and I'm swallowing my index cards. And she says, get up in front of a mirror and look to your left, look to your center, look to your right. Look over their heads. Don't look right at them.
Mom had some experience in
She
this.
knew. So I took it and blah, 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 blah. So here comes Friday, and that's the day we had to give the public speech.
Sure.
And there was nobody with the last name A, nobody with the last name B. I was the first one. So I get up, and literally I am shaking. I got a prop in my hand, and I'm shaking. And I start to my left, and I go to center, right, left, center, right, boom, boom, boom. Now remember, these kids have never heard me speak. I've
That's
never
true.
raised my
Okay,
hand.
yep,
I've been in
yep.
the back, all right? And I'm delivering this speech, 3 minutes gone. And I stop, and they all stood up, gave me a standing.
Wow.
And I haven't shut the hell up since. That's it. That's what propelled me. That was it. And
I love it.
It's seriously, it just started from 6th grade on then.
And
Is that something?
And that set it all in motion.
I never had a safety net or a plan B. It was
Fantastic.
broadcasting. And I remember next door neighbor, Miss Cass, fell down a flight of stairs. The ambulance comes down Rocky Mountain Road, and I run out with my wooden spoon, and I come back to the adults. Miss Cass fell down and broke her ankle. And the reaction, oh my God. So
that was the day
from there, that was
Jamie
it.
Costello became
That's
a
right.
storyteller.
With a wooden spoon.
There you
Isn't that
go.
something?
Reporting about the neighbor.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's awesome.
But it's the adult reaction. That's it.
Yeah. You know what I think is quite charming and inspirational about the story is you're doing what you love naturally.
Yeah.
Right.
That was it. That was all.
I mean, maybe you didn't know that was it.
That was all.
At 6th grade. But hey, you know.
my father was stationed at Fort Holabird in Dundalk.
Okay.
And he went to Korea, and he was gone for about a year. So I heard every nook and cranny in the house. And my mom told me to turn on the radio and just go up and down. And again, that was surfing in those days.
Yeah, there you go. That's
so
right.
I went up to WBZ in Boston, KMOX in St. Louis, WBAL, and I went up and down, and I wanted to be in that box. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
I want to be in that box.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
So you've reported so many moving stories over the years
Sure.
during your career, but I'm interested if you could name one story that sticks out most in your mind that had the most impact and why. What would it be?
That's a good one, Holly. There were a couple of them. The one that you turned me on to, the doctor who had brain cancer.
Yes.
And how I kind of, after we told the story, I get a call from a friend of mine. Hey, can you give me that doctor's name? Because my wife has brain cancer. I want to, and
Oh,
again,
wow.
so she didn't know it at the time, but how she's inspired people throughout
Sure.
so I just
Yes.
connected them in a way that hopefully they get the word. But there's another, I guess the most recent one, one of my last was telling a story about Marcus Moore. Marcus Moore had autism. He was 29 at the time.
Okay.
Told his parents, I have no friends. I have no future. He was stocking shelves at a local grocery store.
Right.
And they came up with this thing, well, why don't you take pretzels and dip them in, I don't know, Old Bay, sugar and stuff.
Okay.
Son of a gun, he starts his own company. It's called Moore's Crunch. And now you see these bags all over. He's got 1 million friends now, and he is.
Yeah, they love his pretzels.
He just threw out the first pitch in the Oriole game last
out,
week, and
really?
he's been honored by Governor
Okay.
Moore, and
Wow.
that's the thing that
You got to
really-
introduce me. I got to become a friend now
he's
too.
unbelievable.
I think
Moore's
we might have to
Crunch.
have him on the Diligent
Yeah,
Leader,
They
exactly.
too.
call
Yeah.
his mom is Mama Crunch and Daddy Crunch, Papa Crunch. And look what his life is doing. And then he's inspiring others.
Yeah.
With we've got a friend out in Western Maryland. How do I get my son involved in this?
Yeah.
It just started up. You never know.
Yeah. You know, I've read, I've seen firsthand, and I've kind of always thought it to be true. I would say I came up with it, but that's not even close to being remotely true. But the fact is, every great mission or organization is telling a story to get it makes something, a topic, relatable. It makes people understand.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes, even though it's as simple as saying that, executing that is very difficult.
You got to get it to their heart.
Yeah,
You got to connect.
exactly. And so I'm kind of curious, like that. You've been doing it for such a long time. You know, we've seen, you know, my day job, Mojo, we have to do our own fair share of storytelling. But I think your background in it and how the diverse audience and stories. How do you face, like, when you come up to an opportunity to tell a story? How do you deliver it the right way?
Well, in
To give it the homage and
television,
honor it needs.
You got to have video.
Right.
Yeah, you have to have the
There you
pictures
go.
to go with what it is. And if you got a picture that is out, oh man, you could
Yeah.
write. You know, you could do a story on the fingers here.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you could do a whole story on that. It's just, how do you connect with somebody? How do you make a connection? How do you get to their heart? How do
Absolutely.
you get to their soul? And if you connect that way, I think you got a story there.
Yeah, I think a little bit has to do with knowing your audience too. You
gotta
have to
know-
know
right,
how to
Sure.
speak to the audience that you're trying to reach, right?
Right. You know, you sometimes you try to go so highbrow, you know,
Yeah.
and then I always go when I speak at. I said Laverne and Shirley was #1 show in America for like 4 years. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah,
So how did they do
exactly.
it? Well, they connected.
Yeah.
They connected.
Exactly. Now, it's funny you mentioned Laverne and Shirley because I think that's always I love that show. I loved that show for a long time. But that if you think about, I think there's something true that's timeless about storytelling.
Yes,
right. It's
right.
The psyche, the human condition, our ability to have relatable content or nostalgia, however you want to look at it. But when you think about the internet, how has the internet has it enhanced, dampered? Did we lose something in the storytelling process?
That is a great question.
Talk
Here's the
about that.
thing. You don't see anybody with the newspaper under their arm anymore,
Right.
walking down the street, right?
Right.
You don't see that. I swear to you, I used to be able to sit down and read something. Now, headline, boom, I'm gone.
Yeah.
The internet has taken my grasp of everything
Sure.
and just shrunk. And so I don't know whether a 4-minute story works on the internet anymore. It's either you better have the pictures at the beginning,
Yep.
or you got to have the emotion at the beginning, or you're going to lose and they're going to go on to something else.
There was a real stat that said that I think it was, I don't know if it was Nielsen net ratings or where it was, but it said somebody would rather watch a 4-minute video than read one paragraph. That's the state of the union.
I would believe that.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable now. It's unbelievable. The attention span is like incredible.
Well, and you're able to reach a larger audience. I feel like I've placed stories, and you know this.
Yeah.
I've placed stories at the local level here in Maryland, and they get picked up by a larger entity like let's say Google
Right.
picks it up and puts it on their news feed, or a larger outlet puts it on their international feed. So that really opens up the door, I think, and it also takes away some of the limitations of trying to speak to that local audience because you have a larger reach to an international or a national market where you have a lot more people that might be interested in the topic, that you're talking about. Like Jamie was talking about working with someone who had autism. Well, that speaks to a very large audience on a national scale, not just local. So
Exactly.
by
Right.
the capability of the internet, we can really get that story out there, I think, to many more
It will always
people.
live on the internet. You can't in a video library. It may be on the shelf forever, but
Not to be fooled that it takes skill, right? It takes communication and the know-how to tell a story.
Well,
right?
I mean, some people can bore you to death,
Yeah.
and then the others can, bring it to life and just. I mean, that's what's the fun part about it is.
So how does that come? Let's talk about your day job, right? Let's talk about you telling stories.
Yeah.
So how do you when you look at a situation you come across, let's say somebody who needs a story told, right?
Yeah.
In any shape, whether it be they're starting up their business or they're telling a heartfelt story. Like what is your process like, and how do you play that role?
Well, it's funny, Alex. We got an offer to do a story on Let's Eat. I'd never heard of them before. Never heard of them before.
Right.
We went out on a Wednesday morning. They were picking up food. What they do is they pick up food at a local grocery store that they're going to throw away.
Sure.
The expiration date's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still good. So they take all this food and they call it rescue food. They load it into a van and then they take it over to food deserts throughout Baltimore's area. And it's incredible. And it's run by Catherine Morneau, one-man band.
Wow.
She gets this van, puts it in, delivers it. We went down to a place in Dundalk, the Green Hills, I think it was,
Okay.
right? She walks into a standing ovation. The people get out of their wheelchairs. Thank you. And she sets up a makeshift grocery store inside this home. And it's unbelievable. Those are the stories.
Yeah.
Never heard of her before, and she is incredible. And her personality is one that's going to push it. And now she's getting more money to feed more people. So that's what makes it. That's really what makes it.
Do you find people are still to this day, if they don't leap at the chance to create video or tell a story, do you think it's an intimidation thing, or do you think it's one of those things they don't know if they have the story worth telling?
That's right.
Okay.
A lot of people are so, that, Holly. Oh, I don't want to do this. I'm not that good. I mean, I know that I have the cure for cancer, but I don't want to tell you.
Exactly. This is a true story.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Why are you sitting on this? Come on, tell. And then once you put the camera in front of it and you make them relax and you ask, and all of a sudden, you got a story that they did. Oh my, changed my life. I wish I would have done this earlier.
Right. And the storyteller's job, to be fair, it's not just to tell the story, but it's to get the story. You have to pull that person out of their shell. You have to interact with them. You have to get them to feel comfortable. So
I don't know how we're going to get him to feel comfortable.
I'm sorry.
Continue.
We've been practicing a little bit. He's been, visiting us here, so we've been working on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is an art because you have to get people to open up and be vulnerable about some really difficult topics. Again, we're talking to people that have had cancer in their brain, or people, we worked with a young mother who had developed breast cancer while she was pregnant.
Right.
And she was so courageous. And again, Jamie's recollection of the way that she told the story was like, oh yeah, I was pregnant, I got breast cancer, had a baby, got
Happens to everybody,
COVID.
right?
You just keep going. And both of us were just kind of, but so it is a fine art to connect with the person that you're interviewing, to get the story, and then to be able to tell it in a way that connects with the audience as well.
And you look at somebody in the eye and you know what? I think I got them here. Yeah. And in the next question, they're sobbing. And it's like, man, now they open up even further, and all of a sudden you got even a better, oh my goodness, you didn't know this?
Yep.
Yeah, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that's human nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's great. That kind of leads into the next question that I want to talk about a little bit. So communication is listed as a core leadership skill. But as you noted, it's one that scares the heck out of a lot of people. And they're like, you want me to get up and talk in front of these people? Can I just send an email? No, we need you to get out. And we need you to come up here, and we need you to get the staff or whoever, the stakeholders are to sort of buy in and invest in whatever it is that we're saying. So I'm curious from you, how can leaders connect across diverse teams to inspire people, cut through the noise, and to lead with clarity and purpose through well-planned, and I stress well-planned communications?
You know what? I've done so many galas and fundraisers and stuff, and I get a script, Alex, and I look over the script. You're missing the point.
Yeah.
The people don't want me to get up there and talk about the big words. They want, again, hit me with Holly, Alex, name the names, and go right to it and tell me the personal story, right?
Yeah.
What you're doing here, you're having companies come on, and I guess the one thing is, how did you start your business?
Yeah.
Well, I started because that's the story.
Yeah.
Just keep going, dig a little bit deeper. But it's like the communications is key. You got to be sure you're confident in the ability to get the message out. And you want to get that message out, and son of a gun, you may have to shove them out there.
Yeah.
But just break down the English, break down the language, and make it real. Like I'm talking to you right now. We're at a bar. Here we're having a drink. Well, tell me about your business. Well, that's the way you got to break it down to them.
Well, giving credit to Mom, talk about what you know.
That's right.
Talk about what you know. Right?
That's right.
Yeah,
talk
start
about
somewhere.
what you know.
Right,
and if you know about your business, then get up and talk about it, Brian, because nobody else is going to do it.
That's right.
You got to get it out there.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. And it takes us right sort of into our next topic.
Okay.
I'm really interested to know, and I think this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to want to hear from professionals like yourself, because you recently made a change in your career and a transition, which I would call a pivot point. But I'm interested to know from you, with all of the people who are going to be at a place where they need to pivot, people who may be finding themselves not working in corporate America or not working full-time for the government. They're going to be making changes. They'll have to figure out, some of them will start their own consulting companies, and some of them will look for jobs in other places. But what I want to know from you is, how can people sort of re-envision their skill set, something that they might have been doing for their entire career, to make these pivots during a major transition like this? Because, sometimes you don't look at your skills through a certain lens, but you have to sort of, I think, envision how others are looking at your skills so you could maybe apply them to other positions and other possibilities.
Right. Everybody, I looked at a camera for 37 years. That's it. What skill is that? Am I right?
That's right.
Okay, I read left to right. What skill is, okay, now what? Now what? What am I doing now?
So I would argue a lot. Like you're calm under
well,
pressure. You can talk
now,
clearly.
when all hell breaks loose, I was talking to my wife about that. Well, what do I do when to tell an employer? Well, when all hell went crazy, I was able to maintain, that kind of stuff. Where's that going to go?
Yeah.
Well, it does, down the line. But what I would tell the people who are now looking at another venture, take the blinders off. You've been like this your whole life. Take the blinders off, and you're going to be incredibly surprised at what's out there.
Yeah.
Years ago at Channel 2, there were rumors that the MMJ world was coming. And the MMJ world is multimedia journalism. That means Alex, that means Holly, you're going to get your own camera and go out there and do. We're going, what in the world are we doing? And I'm going, I grew up in a 3-man crew. I had a boom mic, I like that, and then somebody else doing that.
And we weren't allowed to touch those other
Oh,
items.
no.
And
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah,
would
yeah.
not,
You'd be
the
going
union
up
would
the
have
union.
you.
Yeah,
sure.
right about that. And I'm going, what in the world? I'm going to put a mic on the... Had I not done that, had I not picked up that tool, I wouldn't be where I am today. There would be no way I'd be an employee that way. So what I'm telling everybody is maybe freshen up your resume.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to dust it off.
Sure.
Make it a little creative. Go off out of the box. If everybody, I want to go out of the, make it different.
Yeah.
Use different words. And another thing, AI. I'm scared of AI because you know what? I want to write my own stuff.
Yeah.
So if I let AI lean on AI, I'm scared. Anyway, but dust off your resume and then pick up a skill. Go to the community college if you have to pick up a skill that and also follow your passion. If you want to be a bartender at McGarvey's in Annapolis, then go be a bartender at McGarvey's in Annapolis.
Absolutely.
Or if you want to be a consultant, then do something different in the consultant world. But follow your passion because that's what's going to make you happy. This is your chance.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a chance at changing the course of your life. And that's an exciting time.
Well, I think, Jamie, one thing that people need to remember and just put into check, the internet has been a catalyst to promote individuality.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a lot of automation. You have a lot of AI, but the one thing that's becoming the scarcity is authenticity.
Yeah.
And so
that is right.
And to me, you talk about be yourself, don't, okay, here we go. My name is Alex and I'm going to welcome you to the show today and repeat that 1,000 times, right? You have to start looking at it differently. And I think going back to what you do, storytelling, right? A good story may have some symbolic similarities from one story to another, but at the same time, they're unique, and that's what catches people's attention.
I always say, Alex, when like a carpenter, I can best describe it as a carpenter. A carpenter comes in and always rips it. Look at this table. This table's got, all right, well, how are you going to make it different? Well, I'll round the edges off and maybe I'll tilt it up. Good, that's what we want. We want it different, different. So maybe we'll hire you because you want to round the edge. That's what we're looking for. Bingo, like that. Yep. So it's for those people that think that it's over. Don't think it's over. It's just beginning, and you're going to look back. And we always say, you'll look back at this day and think, well, you will. You will look back and say, wow, I wish I would have done it sooner. That's the thing.
Well, I always used to live my life. I get a little older, so I'm moving around different pace nowadays. But I used to walk around saying, I never want to live my life where I said I should, I would, or could have.
That's right.
And that's kind of where so if I'm traveling somewhere new, I'm gonna try anything. Like I'm not gonna worry about those preconceived things I put in my head. And I think that's important when you're a business, and especially if you're starting something up at whatever point you're at in your journey, you do have to get out there. And I think whether you're talking about storytelling, but communication. It's everything. Without it, it all falls apart. Expectations are whatever everybody else decides.
It's communication in marriage, communication in a job. It's the number one thing.
Yeah, and we tend to shy away from it so quick.
We
don't.
We do.
Yeah.
We shut it down, and we. You got to stand up on your feet and
Talk
do
about
it.
something we try to run away from constantly, right?
Yeah, right.
So you talked a little bit about AI, but how do you think that communications professionals can actually use AI to amplify what they're doing?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm scared to death of it. If it makes it better, if it makes us better, then I'm all for it. But again, you got to write what you feel in your heart, and AI is not going to do that for you. I mean, you got to write the best thing. When I write a line for a story and I nail it, the words for word, you know how it is. Alex, you know how it is. I mean, you jumping off a rooftop because this is the greatest line in the history of Shakespeare.
You had that moment the other day with your podcast, didn't you?
I did.
Is that something? It just motivates you to keep doing it. And that's why you do it. You come back and write some more. But again, the communications key is you got to open it up. Yeah. And you know what? When you network, I'm learning now, you got to go out and network. How are you going to do that? You're just going to sit in the back and, I don't know these people. I'm not going to approach them. What do you do? I'm a local business guy. This is your chance. You just missed it. And the woman's all the way down the hall now. You had your chance. And she's probably hiring, and you just missed it.
I had an employee who was with me for about 5.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's watching, he'll know who he is.
There he is. I see him.
So he used to shy away from being, in the room and up front all the time. I mean, but he was extremely smart and talented. Without a shadow of a doubt to this day, just an amazing talent with everything he does. But I will tell you that was his Achilles heel. Like he didn't like being up front, having to do that. And so after many years of working together, we still have a fond relationship. We still go to lunch. We do projects together occasionally. But we talk, and he now runs his own business, and he spends all his time up front. His time up front.
See, what did it take?
I think for him it was there comes a pain point in your life that is so great you're forced to change.
You have to do it.
Right, and so you evolve your frame of mind. There's that awakening, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But the pain point's too much.
I got
And
you.
you're like, okay, in order to be successful, and it could be different types of pain, but in order to get where I need to go, I've got to make a change. In fact, that's one of my favorite quotes, and I don't know if you have one, but mine is, if you're not changing it, you're making the choice. And so that's kind of something I live by, right? So if I'm not changing it, then I'm choosing this life, whatever it is. So that's how I think.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Mine's Maya. Maya, when she says, what is it again, Holly? It's not what people say to you or what they did for you. It's how they make you feel.
Yes, Maya Angelou. Absolutely.
Making you feel is what you remember most.
Yep. Mojo, I've dropped that one many a times. And that was, I completely believe in that.
I believe in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And having said that, I'm wondering too, Jamie, because again, we know this is a fine art, and strategic communications is different than regular old communications.
Yeah.
So I'm interested because this is a lot of the work that you're doing now with CosTello Your Story.
Yeah.
So you're helping businesses and brands to tell their story.
Right.
Talk a little bit about the way that strategic communications help to amplify your brand and do it in a way you're reaching the target market and you're speaking to the heart and grabbing the attention of the folks that we want to reach.
Yeah, it was nice that Trade Point Atlantic reached out, and and I said, well, they wanted a 4-part series. They're trying to build this Sparrows Point container terminal.
Oh, okay,
and
sure.
It's going to be it's going to bring a lot of jobs and stuff like that. But there are a lot of people in the community that were a little upset with it, the way that it's going to be dredged and all that stuff. So they said, would you mind being the face of this? And I, okay, because all right. And we did a 4-part series and tried to communicate what's being done and how this is going to enhance the area.
Yeah.
And I think it worked. I think it worked for them. It's like, hey, Bethlehem Steel was there forever and ever. They're not there anymore, okay? The water, of course, you know it's going to be dirty. People are coming in to clean it up. Yeah. So where would we be if the Sparrows Point wasn't coming in? Right. It'd be neglected, and then you'd be what? So things you have to communicate, and you have to tell people that things are going to be okay. Like when Oriole Park at Camden Yards was being built, they wanted to tear down the warehouse. John Stedman, the great John Stedman, wanted the warehouse torn down. Wow. And we went back and forth, and all of a sudden, heads prevailed, great things, and look what it is now. It's unbelievable. But again, you got to communicate the process, you got to get the word out, and And we've done that, and we've done the Let's Eat. We've done stuff for, there's a secret project going on. I can't speak about it because it's a surprise for the person that's doing it. But we met this person, unbelievable. I mean, he changed my life around just listening to him and what he's done for Baltimore and beyond. But again, it's the communications. It's getting the word out. What we do is we do stories for companies. And how many fundraisers have they gone to? And the MC goes, "Look at the tape," and they roll, and it doesn't do anything. I want the one here.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for my. Where do I give?
Right. That's when everybody goes out to take a break or take a call.
So that's what we're doing. We want to stir the. We think we have the talent in order to stir the heart to make people donate money and help the organization that we love.
Yeah.
So that's what we're in it for.
That's fantastic. You know, I think that the one other value, kind of to change direction just a little bit, that I think storytelling does is, you know, if you're talking to businesses, right, it helps people understand your mission. It helps them relate to you a little bit better. But it also, at the end of the day, the investment that you make in anything, you know, with video, I think, you know, from a storytelling perspective, you know, I think it sets a standard and it helps people see your vision the way you want it to be. And I think so it controls the narrative a lot easier than I think a written word will do. And also at the end of the day, I mean, if you talk fiscally speaking, you get a better return. Every little view, every little engagement, you know, helps. So I think that video storytelling has so much value in my mind.
You get a CEO, and Holly, you know this. You put a script in front of them, right?
Yeah.
My name is Holly, and I run the da-da-da-da, and I'm another. Okay, now give me the damn script. Put it away. Now tell me your story.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I did? Oh, my goodness. How does that, you know, loosen the tie?
Sure.
Let me see you working. Let me see you with the people. Let me see you doing this. Let me see you giving a crying kid a toy. That kind of stuff. Yeah. Instead of sitting at the desk and having a microphone on. So you got to be creative in that way. But the pictures, oh, my God. You know, there's so many times where the pictures, we don't have any, you can't do it.
If I may ask, you, you talk about the CEO, right?
Yeah.
And we they can be symbolic to anybody who's suddenly tightening up and, you know, going into script mode. But what are the obstacles you face with getting businesses to kind of break free? Is it like, what is the most common issue that you're trying to face to solve?
They don't know the importance yet of the video. You know, we look and say, you have no video on your web. You have no, you know, you can put a picture of a sunset on your web if you want.
Yeah.
You know, and like we just attended a fundraiser and we looked at this video and it was, oh my, you missed it, man. You could have really scored and raised a lot of money. But again, you got to go to the people. You know, like I said, we don't, like the politician, forget the politician. How about the person that was helped by the you know, those are the kind of stories we want to.
Right.
And those stories generate more than
the
talking head, as we say.
Would you say that there's also, to me, in my humble opinion, I think some of the things, and I know I've faced this in many ways of what I do.
Yeah.
The DIYers of the world and the availability of a device to make you think you're all
We had a great
empowering.
conversation about this just last week with your wife.
Everybody, look. When I talk to kids, I say you're all your TV station. You're your own TV station now. You can do it. But YouTube has kind of killed it.
Yeah,
it kind of killed the quality.
Sure.
If I went up to B&H up in New York, where you get all the
I know that's the place. Yeah, absolutely.
It should be the second thing you visit in New York. Statue of Liberty, then this place.
Oh, you went there?
And there are 4 floors.
Oh, wow.
And I went. Hundreds of people on every floor, and I'm going, what in the world? All YouTubers, all YouTubers. So everybody thinks they can do it. But again, you got to match the word up with the video.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, you got to, if you're missing the mark, But that's a very good point. Everybody, DIY, man, they thought they all think they can do it.
Yeah, until they're there and they're looking at it, and it's great that they I think embrace the idea of it. But at some point, would you hire your cousins, brothers, sisters, uncle, whatever, to film the most important message you ever want to tell? Right? Or do you put the effort in it?
What? They didn't mic them, or the light.
Oh,
you know,
lighting.
The lighting is off. You can tell.
It's bad. It's
So
unfortunate.
sometimes, maybe
Yeah.
that $5 you saved would have been better spent, or $10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
That's a great point, though.
But I think if you go all the effort to go sell and get brochures and business card to make this great lasting impression, the one thing that's going to stick around when you're not there is that video, and it's going to be on your website, it's going to be on your social media, it's going to be all these other places where maybe you'll get distributed through the news, like whatever it may be.
If it's slick, whoosh,
Sure,
it'll
hey.
do something for you. It'll
But
do something for you.
why skip out on that part?
That's
you know?
funny, but you're right about the cell phone, and everybody
Yeah.
thinks they can do it.
And it goes back to strategic communications. It has to be planned. It has to
Yes.
be targeted. It needs to maximize the impact. And in order to do that, it has to be well thought through in advance. Like,
Yeah.
unless you're, which I guess I shouldn't say this, but, there are some, I'll call them shock jocks and other personalities who can probably just walk out there and just whatever they say is going to be gold, but that's not the
that's
way it
rare.
is in real life.
That's
No,
rare.
not for most people. And again, a lot of professionals, business leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, C-suite executives, they're not that type of personality. They're business personality type people. A lot of them deal with facts and analytics and numbers and things like that. So, when you want them to go up there and have a big personality, it can get tough. So I would argue that you need a person who can guide you,
Oh,
who
yeah,
can coach
sure.
you,
Yeah.
and who can
Right.
sort of say at the end of the day, this isn't going to work. You
Like
got
here,
to shift.
Not everybody can do a podcast like you two.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thinks, oh, put a mic in,
Right.
I'm off and running.
There you go.
And then 2 minutes later, now what? What do we talk about now? So it takes a little bit.
It takes some skill.
It takes
right?
a little bit. Yeah, it does.
So let me. I want to kind of ask this question
Yeah.
because I think it's a great transition to kind of what we're talking about here, and that is when you have a business that you're looking at, right? And they need help, or somebody needs to tell a story. We have AI, we have the DIYers, we have all these people trying. Everybody's kind of racing, and I think there's a general consensus. Yes, video is important. They don't know how they're going to get there, but how when you walk into that organization, aside from their fear factors of I don't want to do it, I don't have a story to tell. What are you talking to businesses and organizations to say, what are you going to do to help us be better? I mean, we say storytell but what is the process like? How is it going to be easier by working with you?
Just give us the personality. Give us the person that you think is maybe the office jokester. Okay, well, let's follow him around. And all of a sudden, you find a story that how he or she has been helped. But again, it's the video inside. You got to give us I can't. There was one story we were trying to tell, and they just didn't let us get the access. And we're going, we need the access. And all of a sudden, they freed it up, and then the story became a story. But again, a lot of people are very fearful of, letting us in to a point where I don't. But again, we're not breaking any privacy laws or anything like
sure.
that.
No.
But just give us a little bit. Oh, well, we need to see that because you said that on the video on the interview. You said that you pull a heart out of your tongue. So we need to see that. So that's the kind of.
Well, and I think
stuff.
that even goes back to the point too. Like you just touched on something. I don't know if I think you both would agree that whether it be the DIYers or the people saying I want to have control of it, I want to. There's the reason it's so important to go back to Holly's point is a plan and to come up with a solution, provide somebody is because you discover so much through doing it once, twice, 10 times, 1,000 times, that if you don't plan for it, you don't prep for it, it doesn't align with the vision of the organization, you're going to miss all those important nuggets of gold, right? And so by planning it out, unlocking, pulling back, then you can really create a story that's worth telling.
Right.
Because one, you've let the walls down. Two, you come up with a plan rather than just ad hocing it, like you said, sitting there for 2 minutes later.
Yeah, we'll sit you down and talk about where we want to go, what shots we need, and all that kind of good stuff. And we don't surprise anybody. We don't come in there in like 60 minutes and.
Yeah, and you're building trust, and I think
Yeah, you
that's
have
so
to.
important.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you have experienced this as I have. When you make the shift from being a journalist into doing public relations work, it's hard sometimes to get clients, and I've had to actually say to some clients, I work for you. I am here to support you. I am trying to make you sound as good, as good as we possibly can get it. And, I am here, I want you to think of me as, support. I don't want you to think of me as a reporter coming in here to trip you up. That's not what we're here to do. And I'm going to make sure that if we are going to talk to a reporter after you talk to me, I'm going to make sure that you're ready for that so that doesn't happen. But talk a little bit about sort of establishing the trust and getting people sort of to understand, because you are shifting your brand. So now you're on the other side.
Thing is, I'm not free anymore. That's the thing. That's the big. Oh, I
is
love
that after this show, or when does that start?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember that line. I'm not free anymore.
I'm not free anymore,
there
and
you
it's
go.
like I've got to make a living at this. And it's and for many years I was free telling these stories, and now and people get it. They understand, and it's a compliment for them to come hire us to come out and tell their stories and be a face of a thing that they want to publicize. So that makes us feel very good. But
absolutely.
But again, it is it's a lot of fun, and we just let people come to us. We're not. Hey, can we do something? But and it's been great so far.
That's fantastic. So now you've picked up so many great lessons in your life. You've done so many things. You've told so many stories, met so many different personalities. But there comes a point where you start looking at like maybe mentoring or coaching people and giving them other guidance. What is that? Those types of activities play a role, whether it be paid coaching or whatever. I mean, how does that play into the role for you?
Good. Oh, I love that. I would. Yeah.
You sense it as a responsibility.
It is a responsibility because we need journalists. We, everything you read online is not. I remember in the newsroom there was a story that was breaking, and they were putting an army together, and I said, hey, how about pick up the phone and call? Call before we send a crew out there.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they called, but it's all different now. It is all different. This thing right here rules the day.
Yeah,
and
it
if
does.
something, and then there's somebody tweeting out something, and we're running on it.
Oh yeah.
So that But as far as coaching, and again, be a writer. Right. Get the message.
Very good.
Get the message across, and get your pictures, but get the message. Get the message. The who, what, where, when, and why still matter to this day.
That's great. That's great. We appreciate that.
Do you have any advice for someone who is thinking about getting into this field? Obviously things have changed, as we've noted. Things are going to continue to evolve.
I think I'm the oldest one at the table here. So I started with film. So we had to splice the film.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So in those days, when you went out and rolled on film, you didn't shoot 8 hours of film because it would take you.
Right.
You'd still be in the editing room. Yeah. And I remember taking the film and splicing it, putting it together. Then we went to 3/4. That was the big 3/4 tape that was stuffed in a machine.
I don't miss those days, Jamie.
And then the beta got a little, and then now. Show there it is. Yeah. There's the whole. That's what we're working on now. Yeah. So that is crazy. What I really do love is the drone. The drone, man. I could be addicted to that. But again, my wife passed the drone test, and she went. I think it was in Crofton. Crofton.
Okay.
She walked into Crofton, and she was. You sit at a table, and she put her credentials in, and the test popped up, and she thought it was a real estate test, and she goes to the. I think you got me the wrong. No, that's the right one. She's going, oh man, but she passed it anyway. But you have to know where to fly, how to fly, blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
But the technology today, you got to stay ahead of it. You got to get on social media, whether you like it or not. You got to find the new ones that are coming and all that kind of stuff. But the advice is, be yourself. Find a new path. If everybody's going down this way, maybe you ought to try this way because there's nobody on that path.
Yes,
and then you're going to be at the leader of the road. But again, follow your passion, because if you don't, you're going to be miserable.
Yep.
But follow your passion and you'll be all right. I hope.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, That was some great advice.
I hope so. I hope. Yeah, you just.
Yeah, I don't care who you are or what field you work in. If you can't take something away from this episode,
Yeah, I
you
know,
need to
like-
listen to it again.
You got to realize that
Exactly.
you are where you're supposed to be. And a lot of people think,
Very well
they,
said.
they fight that. They
Oh,
fight,
yeah.
You know what? I'm supposed to be where, and I am right now. I can be honest with you. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Fantastic.
I'm here by the airport.
Yeah. Well, Jamie, thank you very much for
No,
joining us
Alex,
today.
Holly, it's been a while.
Oh,
Thanks for
been
coming
great.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I mean, again, yes, we met while we were both doing
Yeah,
different work.
right.
And now here we are, 2 years later, and now we're here,
Here we
we are
go.
where we're supposed to be.
That's
so
great.
I love it.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely hope you've enjoyed sitting here with Jamie and learning more about storytelling and the things to not do and the things to more importantly do, right? And understand about yourself and your vision where you're headed. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode of The Diligent Leader. Jamie, thank you very much
Thank you,
for joining
Alex.
us
Thank
today.
you, Holly.
Thank you very much, and see you on the next episode.